Today on Studio One, new research shows taking a daily vitamin might be a daily dose of harm. Also, we'll show you what a golf course goes through to prepare for the long winter. And permanent is not so permanent anymore. We'll see how memories can be erased.
From the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks, this is Studio One.
Hello everyone and welcome to Studio One. I'm Monty Cashel.
And I'm Ashley Trudan. We have a great show lined up for you today. And later in the show, we're going to be talking to someone who helps with births. And not the ones in the hospitals, ones at home.
So not a delivery doctor?
No, not a doctor. We're talking to a midwife.
Okay.
And she's going to tell us a little bit about home births and are they safe and a bunch of other things that she'll give us insight about.
All right, excellent. Also on the show, for many people, they're part of your daily routine, but recent studies show vitamins could increase the risk of dying of cancer or heart disease. We'll tell you which supplements help and which ones may bring potential risk.
And every day scientists work towards curing Alzheimer's. We'll talk to someone who helps people behind the scenes.
But first, here's today's news with Stephanie Shire.
Thanks, Monty and Ashley. People took to the streets in Tripoli Thursday to celebrate the news of Muammar Gaddafi's death. The longtime Libyan dictator was shot and killed by revolutionary forces. Gaddafi ruled Libya for 62 years before an uprising in February and civil war that led to his dethroning. He was allegedly fleeing from his hiding spot in his hometown when revolutionary fighters overtook his vehicle. The rebels shot Gaddafi in both legs and the head during the attack. In response to the news, President Obama held a press conference where he stated that Gaddafi's death marks the end of a long and painful chapter for the people of Libya. 4 mentally disabled people were found locked in a Philadelphia boiler room this week. They were held captive in the dark 15 by 6 foot room with no food or water and only a metal bucket for a bathroom. One was chained to a boiler. Officials said Wednesday that 7 more people may have been held captive, including one of the suspect's 19-year-old niece. The woman was found chained in an upstairs closet in the same building where the first 4 were discovered. She was being treated for horrific injuries from the abuse and malnourishment. 25 deaths in 12 states are now linked to Listeria, a not so well known but deadly bacteria. Following the outbreak in cantaloupes, the federal government says all cut melons such as watermelon and honeydew can be potentially hazardous. Because the melons grow on the ground, they're susceptible to bacteria in the soil or in water runoff. Listeria can also be found in other foods including cheeses, hot dogs, and deli meat. The CDC says this is the second worst foodborne illness outbreak in the United States history, and is bringing focus to the safety of our food.
In the cantaloupe situation, most of the problem would have been alleviated if the outside of the cantaloupe would have been washed properly.
Hake says cantaloupe are also more susceptible to contamination because of their rough skin. If bacteria settles in the skin and you cut through it, you can bring the bacteria into the melon. Slipping on ice or falling on the ground can be embarrassing, but a new study tells us they can be a good thing. A study for the University of California found someone who has embarrassing moments is perceived as a kind and caring person. It also showed embarrassing moments bring out other sides of people, such as trustworthiness. The experiment involved 57 college students. The students who didn't have any reaction to embarrassing moments tended to be less trusting and more selfish than others. Embarrassing moments may leave you red in the face, but your character and reliability will shine through. For many years, people have been taking vitamins to get extra nutrients and minerals. But with 2 recent studies released in the last month, some might reevaluate whether vitamins are right for them.
The label on the back of a vitamin container can be misleading. Vitamin A, 150%, vitamin C, 200%, and vitamin E, 300%. This might look healthy to some, but experts say too much of a good thing can be a bad thing.
As long as you're at 100% or less, you're always going to be safe. When you start to see 200, 300, 400%, then depending on the nutrient, that may be too much for you.
A study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association shows an increased risk of prostate cancer in men who took too much vitamin E. Another study in women showed other health risks from too much folic acid, iron, and copper. Goodwin says eating a well-balanced diet will get a person the right amount of nutrients they need.
In general, most nutrition professionals would say it's always better to eat the food to get the nutrients rather than relying on a supplement, because you get all the other benefits of that particular food.
However, nutritionists say if a person knows they have a deficiency in a certain food group, then taking a vitamin is beneficial. Angela Flaxvarth knows a calcium pill is all the supplement she needs.
Calcium is usually the only one I worry about, just because, like, in my family, osteoporosis runs in my family, so I have to worry about that.
Other than that, Angela prefers eating healthy and working out to get the extra benefit.
I usually take my vitamin and then I eat a little breakfast and then I come and work out, and then that's pretty much it for the day, and then I just eat healthy if I can.
Nutrition specialists say to consult with a doctor before taking vitamins, because in some cases, giving it 110% may not be best. I am Kent Lutzen reporting for Studio One.
Americans spent $9.6 billion on vitamins last year. Multivitamins topped the list at over half the annual sales. And that's the news for now. Monty and Ashley?
Thanks, Stephanie. Well, you know, if everyone listened to their mother and ate their veggies, right?
Things would be good.
That's right. Veggies and fruits.
Very important.
That's right.
Let's head to Katie Link for the weather news about some windy and rainy weather happening around the country.
Thanks, Monty and Ashley. We're going to take a look at a low-pressure system that developed over the Ohio River Valley. Now, low-pressure systems usually are associated with rainy and cloudy conditions, but this system seems to be packing a real punch. Now, this is a system in motion. This is our satellite and radar image, and as you can see here, there's a lot of clouds, very thick clouds in the region. Now, this low pressure system has had winds up to 40 miles an hour sustained and gusting up to 60 miles per hour in Chicago. Additionally, this storm has produced 20-foot waves in Chicago off of Lake Michigan, and that has caused them to shut down some sidewalks. Now, this is our surface map. That's our low pressure system, and these thin white lines along here are called isobars. And as those get closer together, that makes the winds very strong. So as you can see how close those winds are, or those isobars are, that means the winds are very strong. As I said, 40 miles per hour sustained winds. Now, as this system does move off into the northeast, we are going to see it just slowly fall apart as it does move into the northeast, bringing some rain along with it. So as you can see, there is going to be quite a bit of rain as it continues to move. Now, let's take a look at the week ahead. We are going to see cooler conditions down in the southeast as we see some more low pressure systems move through the region, bringing some cooler conditions, and very warm out to the west. Now, they're going to see a very pleasant fall week this week. As we move into our precipitation, very dry across the country. We're going to see drier than average conditions on the west coast and very dry in the south, and they are just going to keep seeing those drought conditions continue. Now, that does bring us back to our weather question of the day. What year was the National Weather Service established? 1870, 1900, 1927, or 1970? Now, Monty and Ashley, the National Weather Service was originally called the Weather Bureau when it was first established.
Thank you, Katie.
All right. That 1800s even. That's a long time ago.
It might have happened.
Yeah. People look to
Weather's
this.
always
It's always been around. People are always interested in it. All right. Most people are also interested in sports highlights. We got some of those on deck with John Schaefer.
Thanks, Monty and Ashley. From calling players' names to throwing things at them, fans will do whatever it takes to distract the opposing team. But sometimes this can go too far. At an NHL game in early October, Philadelphia Flyers' Wayne Simmons scored in a shootout against the Detroit Red Wings. Just before shooting the puck, a fan taunted Simmons by throwing a banana peel that landed in his path to the net. Sporting officials say this is not an uncommon event, but they still try to prevent it.
And certainly we monitor the consumption of alcohol and what people, how people are addressing not only fellow fans, but chants and those kind of things. And we certainly have a policy when it comes to that.
Johnson says while alcohol can contribute to fans' actions, having an educated staff can also prevent negative occurrences at games. Some sporting venues have provided systems where a fan can text message the arena if they are having a problem in their section. It's now time for the Studio One Sports Trivia question. How many golf balls a year are hit into the water surrounding the famous 17th hole of the stadium course at Sawgrass? It's one of the more picturesque professional courses played by the majors. So that's the sports. Monty and Ashley.
All right. Thanks, John. There's something endearing about a bumbling yet successful international spy. We'll preview the movie Johnny English Reborn later in the show.
Also, Alzheimer's disease can have an emotional strain on loved ones. We'll meet a woman who consults with and educates people about the disease.
The University of North Dakota School of Medicine and Health Sciences is meeting the challenge of future healthcare workforce shortages. The state's only medical school produces the highest percentage of graduates nationwide who choose family medicine. Advanced degrees are also offered in basic medical sciences like anatomy and health professions like physical therapy. Students learn and train throughout the state.
In that way, we really are North Dakota.
Make your choice the UND School of Medicine and Health Sciences.
At the University of North Dakota School of Engineering and Mines, improving the world is our project.
This could be your next road.
Our research helps heat your home without hurting the environment.
You drink clean water because of my work.
We push technology to improve quality of life.
This field could fuel your car.
Petroleum production can be more efficient.
One day, my ideas will impact you.
I am
an engineer.
Accounting at the University of North Dakota is more than just numbers. It's about maintaining a history of high-quality education and developing leaders in the accounting profession. While numbers stay the same, the UND accounting program continues to evolve. UND hosts one of the country's best accounting programs and now offers a master's degree in accountancy. Accounting at the University of North Dakota. Numbers accelerated.
Studio One is a television show produced by staff and students at the University of North Dakota. Here you actually get to do your own stories and you get to go out and talk to people and interview and learn about the cameras and everything that goes into like a live television production. I mean, it's incredible.
Give it a try. I mean, even if you're not broadcasting communications major, anything, I mean, it's worth it.
Help others live to their full potential. Improve clients' mental and physical well-being. Excel in one of the top healthcare careers of the future. Occupational therapy students at the University of North Dakota experience high-quality education in small classes.
Has to come to 45 degrees, even in a normal motion pattern.
Your healthcare career begins at the University of North Dakota.
You're watching Studio One, your source for news, weather, sports, and entertainment.
Alzheimer's affects more than 5 million Americans. The disease is widely heard of, but generally little is known about the details. Care consultant and public educator with the Alzheimer's Association, Ashley Magner, is here to shed some light on the disease. Thanks for coming here today.
Thanks for having me.
Well, first of all, you're part of the Alzheimer's Association. What does that association do?
As a part of the Alzheimer's Association here in North Dakota, we're a part of the Minnesota-North Dakota chapter. And what we do is provide supportive services across the two states to people that are in some way affected by a type of dementia.
Okay, so you say you support people. What is your role in particular?
My role as a regional care consultant is to provide education. I do public education, family caregiver education, and professional education. And then I also do care consultation, which is a core service of the association where we go and directly work with somebody who is taking care of a person that's affected by dementia. So oftentimes it's family caregivers, and in some cases it is professional caregivers.
Okay. Now, we mentioned earlier in the introduction that you know, people have heard of Alzheimer's for sure, but what are some of the stigmas that that come along with that disease?
That's a great question, and one thing that we hear so often associated to the term Alzheimer's is senility. A lot of times people just think that Alzheimer's disease, they don't think of it as a disease, they think of it as getting old, and they think of it as being confused and forgetful and people just getting old and senile. And a little bit of that stigma is starting to go away now as we raise awareness and as people truly do understand that this is a disease process and not something that is normal to the aging process.
Okay. Well, what are some of the signs of Alzheimer's?
Well, one of the first and of course course, the most common sign that we think of with Alzheimer's disease is the memory loss and the forgetfulness. And this type of memory loss associated with Alzheimer's disease is memory loss that truly affects a person's ability to function normally in everyday life. And it's a lot of short-term memory changes. We often will hear of somebody with Alzheimer's disease that can tell you all the details in the story from their life 50 years ago, but not necessarily from 5 minutes ago. And it truly is memory impairment that really just changes a person's ability to function as they normally would.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay, and you know, with the treatment parts, what should you do to treat Alzheimer's, I guess?
Well, when a person, when you suspect changes in a loved one or somebody that you know, first and foremost, you should see your primary care provider, your physician, and talk about the changes you're seeing. Sometimes it requires more diagnostic testing to see what is going on, if it is indeed Alzheimer's or related dementia. And if that's the case, if it is Alzheimer's disease, we still have no cure for the disease, but there are treatment options available to help treat the symptoms of the disease and help people live a better quality of life with Alzheimer's disease. So there really are options available today, which is why diagnosis is so important.
And they're working on this constantly to try and find a cure. What recent advancements have there been?
Recent advancements are more, every day the science and the technology is improving, and we're finding more medications that can help people live better with this disease. So things are growing in that nature, so we can really help, while we don't have a cure for the disease, help people truly live better and prolong and really slow down the progression of the disease is really where we're at right now.
Mm-hmm. Well, and Alzheimer's is one of the big, I don't know if there's 3 or 4, there's, cancer and heart stroke disease. Alzheimer's fits in there as well. There's a lot of fear associated with it because it is something that comes with age, and there's a lot of information out there saying eat more blueberries and you won't get Alzheimer's, or do puzzles all the time. Is there anything that really helps?
There really isn't anything you can do to prevent getting the disease. And all of those things, when you hear, certainly take them with a grain of salt. But there are things that we can do in our everyday life to help keep the risk down. Those things are things that, we truly should be doing every day anyways, such as maintaining a healthy lifestyle, eating a well-balanced diet, exercising, physical activity. We know all of these things are good for us, and exercising your brain really is truly important. They say with your brain, if you don't use it, you lose it, and really challenging yourself every day, getting that physical activity, and also socialization is so very important. And research has shown over and over that people that have active social lives remain to also be active in other areas of their life, and so that is also really important. And those things really can help reduce your risk, just maintaining that healthy lifestyle.
Okay. How much a risk is out there? How prevalent is this disease?
This disease is very prevalent and it's on the rise. And the reason for that is because Alzheimer's disease is a disease of the aging. And so while people are living longer, and that's fantastic, as they age, their risk for getting this disease or for developing Alzheimer's disease increases. And currently there's almost 5.5 million Americans affected by Alzheimer's disease, and a little over 19,000 in the state of North Dakota alone. And so as people continue to live longer, we will see the number of those affected by Alzheimer's disease continue to be on the rise.
One last quick question. If you feel like someone in your family has signs or symptoms of it, what should they do?
They should see their doctor, of course, immediately, because it could be Alzheimer's or related dementia, and it could be another condition, sometimes reversible and sometimes life-threatening. So never just write it off. Always seek medical advice.
All right. Thanks so much for coming on the show today. Appreciate the information.
Thank you for having me.
Coming up, it's hard for many avid golfers to put away their clubs and wait for next spring. We'll tell you the process the golf course goes through to say goodbye to the season. Also, many get tattoos for specific reasons. Many also get them removed for equally specific reasons. We'll spend a day in the life of a tattoo remover next.
Studio One closed captioning is underwritten in part by Options, your disability information source.
What does cancer look like? What about diabetes, heart disease? Medical laboratory professionals are a vital link in the treatment of disease and maintenance of health. They investigate clues found in the body that will direct patient care. The University of North Dakota's laboratory science programs are some of the most innovative, far-reaching, fully accredited programs in the nation. The UND School of Medicine and Health Sciences can help you become one of the few who see beneath the surface.
It's not the size of the woman in the fight. It's the size of the fight in the woman.
Some consider graduation the end of the college experience. For others, it's just the beginning.
And the university provided an environment where I could grow.
And many years after I graduated, I'm still receiving dividends from my experience as a student at UND.
The University of North Dakota Alumni Association is committed to growing the university by growing the alumni family.
A good spy is smart, smooth, and knows how to handle almost any situation. A not-so-secret agent does more damage than spying once more in the movie Johnny English Reborn. Rowan Atkinson is better known as the British spy Johnny English. He was fired and went to live in a Tibetan monastery. Johnny is called back into action for the British intelligence. He finds out that the spy industry is a lot different than it once was. He sets out to investigate a plot to kill a Chinese diplomat and encounters, rather creates many misadventures. Despite Johnny's haphazard ways, Atkinson says that his character is still respectable.
He is far too full of self-regard, which gets him into trouble. But in the end, he means well. He tries hard, he's honest, he's decent. And there are lots of other characters in our story who are none of those things.
Johnny English Reborn is a follow-up to the 2003 movie Johnny English. The movie is rated PG and set to hit theaters October 21st. Now it's time to look at the events happening in your area. The reasons to get one can be impulse or come from a great deal of thought. The reasons to get rid of it are just the same. Today we'll spend a day in the life of someone who can help erase part of your past.
It's going to be painful, and she isn't going to shy away from telling you otherwise.
I'm very upfront with the fact that it may indeed hurt. Again, pain is subjective.
Miranda removes a little piece of history with a powerful tool. She shares that air of confidence with the patient that it will be worth it in the long run.
It's really quite rewarding, though, to have some people come in and I've had this for this long and I can't stand it anymore. It's affecting aspects of my life, and just, you know, they go through a little bit of suffering to get that tattoo off, so it's very rewarding.
Miranda plays the little helper in people's lives. It's the stories that come along with it that put a smile on her face.
I do have one patient that has had medical tattoos that they used to mark for like radiation. She had breast cancer and she was a survivor, and so that was the one last nasty reminder of her cancer, and so we just hit those little guys twice, gone.
The stories of tattoo origins that Miranda has heard sometimes border on the absurd.
I actually had one patient that got theirs overseas, and it was done in a very primitive manner, so it was really kind of interesting to hear how that was done.
Regardless of color, size, or origin, that mistake you thought you made can be put to rest where it belongs, in the past. With photographer Megan Rangeloff, I'm David Folsky, Studio One.
Mandy says treatments for laser removal need months to allow for healing. She also says it can take more than a year to fully complete the treatments. Coming up, the National Weather Service provides weather and climate forecasts to specific regions. Find out exactly what they do and why they're facing budget cuts. That story plus news, sports, and weather in the next half hour of Studio One.
Closed captioning for Studio One is underwritten in part by NDAD, helping others to help themselves.
If this tennis ball represents today's environmental challenges and these puppies are the EERC, then tackling those challenges is just another workday. At the EERC, we're improving air, water, and soil quality, developing renewable fuels, cleaner power plants, and discovering new ways to use our natural resources. And just like those puppies, we'll never tire of the pursuit. EERC, putting research into practice.
Help others live to their full potential. Improve clients' mental and physical well-being. Excel in one of the top healthcare careers of the future. Occupational therapy students at the University of North Dakota experience high-quality education in small classes.
It has to come to 45 degrees, even in a normal motion pattern.
Your healthcare career begins at the University of North Dakota.
Some consider graduation the end of the college experience. For others, it's just the beginning.
And the university provided an environment where I could grow.
And many years after I graduated, I'm still receiving dividends from my experience as a student at UND.
The University of North Dakota Alumni Association is committed to growing the university by growing the alumni family.
Your future depends on this moment. Take the path that leads to your future.
From the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks, this is Studio One.
Welcome back to Studio One.
Thanks for joining us today. One of the topics we're going to talk about today is not getting enough sleep. And there's a lot of people probably that say, well, I could have had another hour or two, right?
Or three, maybe.
Right. And part of it comes from, we read a study that said, you know, teens that don't get enough sleep actually engage in more risky behavior than teens that got enough sleep. So we started to get curious about, you know, maybe not teens and adults who don't get enough sleep, see what they think. So we went out and asked them, how do you feel after you don't get enough sleep? Their answers are coming up. Also in the next 30 minutes on Studio One, Occupy Wall Street is a social movement that's occupying almost every state. We'll tell you what it is and how fast it's spreading.
Also, we'll introduce you to a man who becomes somebody completely different when he's on stage. He starts out as a male model, but now models as a female.
And a special moment, of course, is when a child comes into the world. We will talk to a woman who helps out with births in a natural way. But first, here's today's news with Stephanie Shire.
Thanks, Monty and Ashley. Officials in eastern Ohio say they have accounted for almost all of the 56 exotic animals that went loose Tuesday night. Most of them, which included numerous bears, lions, and tigers, were killed. Police shot dozens of creatures Wednesday morning when they were let loose from a Zanesville, Ohio farm. The owner is suspected to have let them out right before committing suicide. 48 were shot, including 18 Bengal tigers, which are endangered. 6 animals were taken to the zoo and 2 are still on the loose. Police are investigating how the owner had obtained the animals. Tens of thousands of Greek protesters took to the streets Thursday as lawmakers voted on a new round of tough budget-cutting measures aimed at bringing the national debt down. Violence has broken out between protesters and police outside Parliament. Greece is in debt with over $500 billion to lenders. Parliament approved a highly objected austerity bill which includes tax hikes, layoffs, and budget cuts. The bill includes an $8 billion loan from the European Union in order to keep the economy afloat. Whether it's for the taste, temperature, or just the caffeine, over 50% of American women can't go a day without coffee. Now, new research may give women yet another reason to visit their local coffee shop. A study published in the Archives of Internal Medicine suggests that women who drink at least 4 cups of coffee per day have a lower risk of developing depression than those who drink fewer than 2. Although these findings may cause some women to feel good about their daily caffeine fix, experts say there are other variables.
One thing alone is not going to ward off depression. Just drinking coffee is probably alone not enough to keep depression at bay.
Although the findings appear encouraging, researchers insist that additional studies must be done before doctors could consider recommending regular coffee consumption as a treatment for depression. Smartphones are replacing GPS devices, portable music players, and now our wallets. Google Wallet is a new app that allows customers to pay their transactions through their phone. The Wallet app is available for only phones with a specific NFC chip, which allows wireless connection between 2 devices in close distance between each other. Also, the app will only work with Citi MasterCard. Google says much improvement still needs to be made, and they are just getting started. The Occupy Wall Street protest started on September 17th in New York City with hopes to change social and economic injustice. Since then, affiliated groups have been popping up all over the nation.
Decades ago, messages like this.
There's something happening here. It's not exactly clear.
Circulated the nation. More than 40 years later, these words are still inspirational. And although protests aren't as frequent today, some believe they can still make a difference.
So I'm at a part of the organization for what is called the Occupy Wall Street.
I like that the people are standing outside and saying, we are sick of this.
To these citizens, the issue is about numbers.
We are the 99% who do all the work, while the 1% make all the money and live in luxury and have their own sets of rules.
99% of the population is being taken advantage of, to put it mildly, by the 1% who make the majority of the money and as a percentage pay very little taxes.
The role of the middle class in America has declined, and I'm frightened for the future of the country.
The movement started over a month ago in New York City and has spread rapidly.
Currently it's in 82 countries, 183 cities. It's gone global. Grand Forks is just one small part of that.
Women's rights movements and civil rights marches have made social impacts in history. If there's power in numbers.
For all of us, 99% whose voices are never heard, we have a voice today.
Occupy Wall Street could do the same. Brian Gendro, Studio One.
Some inside and outside Occupy Wall Street are criticizing the movement, saying it has no leader and no specific demands. They say the people are the ones who make decisions without having any elected leaders. And that's the news for now. Monty and Ashley.
Thanks, Stephanie. Well, the Occupy Wall Street has certainly spread. I mean, if anything, if you agree or not, it's certainly raised awareness.
Everybody's talking about it. So no matter where you are. Let's go now to Katie Link for the weather news. She's going to talk to us a little bit about dust storms happening in the south.
Thanks, Monty and Ashley. With the summer droughts in the southern states, it has caused some very dry conditions. And with these conditions, it doesn't take much to whip up a dust storm. Now on October 17th, winds just in front of a cold front kicked up dust in Lubbock, Texas, decreasing visibility throughout the afternoon. As the cold front did move through the region, Lubbock was hit with 70-mile-per-hour winds and caused an 8,000-foot high rolling dust cloud that moved through the city just before 6 p.m. The visibility dropped between 0 and a quarter of a mile as this system moved through. Now this is Lubbock right here, and as you can see, wind gusts were up to 75 miles per hour. And the conditions that produced this dust storm to be able to be formed was this drought. Now it's continuing, and these are the severity levels. Severe is in the yellow, extreme is in the red, and exceptional is in that maroon color. And exceptional is the strongest form of drought, so it's a very severe drought. Now, dust storms can whip up in a matter of 1 to 2 minutes, so the National Weather Service keeps tabs on that. Every season sees its share of severe weather. It can sometimes even put people in danger. But one federal organization keeps track of the changing conditions.
The National Weather Service is a federal agency mandated by Congress to provide warnings, watches, and outlooks for the protection of life and property.
When weather becomes severe, this organization is the only one that can send out official warnings for their forecast areas.
There are 122 weather forecast offices across the United States and 13 river forecast centers across the United States.
With so many offices across the country, the National Weather Service provides unique forecasts for their region. The meteorologists know the geographical area and how they affect the weather. Additionally, each office takes a series of specific weather measurements every day.
So we have a variety of sensors to monitor wind speed and direction, barometric pressure, temperature, and humidity. We also operate a network of Doppler weather radars which monitor precipitation patterns across the United States.
From severe storm warnings to accurate local forecasts, the National Weather Service provides services to the public that affect our daily lives. Now that we've learned about the National Weather Service, that brings us back to our weather question of the day. What year was the National Weather Service established? And that was back in 1870. Now, Monty and Ashley, we do actually have a National Weather Service forecasting office here in Grand Forks.
Is there an advantage to having a National Weather Service in your town?
Yeah, well, actually, we get very exact measurements here in Grand Forks, so we have a very thorough history.
Okay, thank you so much, Katie.
Thanks.
Well, I know they're always measuring. I mean, we live right near a river, and you always know how high that river is exactly. So that helps in a flooding situation, that's for sure. All right, it's time to turn to sports one last time, and John Schaefer.
Thanks, Monty and Ashley. The game of golf can be your best friend or your worst enemy. It's a mentally tolling game, but people come back year after year to play the peaceful sport. The course has to come back year after year in pristine condition as well. This time of year, someone might walk out on a chilly morning to get in a round of golf. They could get turned away for safety purposes. Not their safety, but for the green's safety.
Frost actually kind of freezes the blades of grass, and if you walk on them, it'll kill the blades of grass. It won't kill the roots, but it'll kill the grass, the blades, and you'll see it the next day.
The course contrasts the morning sky, but soon the sea of green will be covered in the frigid white stuff. Like people, the course must go through processes to protect it from getting out of shape. One of the biggest hazards isn't the snow, but what the snow creates.
If you get hit with snow mold, you could have a pretty bad next season. And if you have a lot of snow mold damage, then the golfers tend not to come visit your golf course.
The snow mixed with low temperatures creates this damaging disturbance.
The right temperatures, the cool temperatures, and that'll activate the spores and essentially just kill the turf.
Dusty has been around the golf course since he was 9 and knows how to prepare them for winter.
Chemical is about the only thing that you're going to stop it with.
As the drop in temperature forces people to put their clubs in the closet, Dusty will prepare the course for its hibernation, close the door on this season, and anticipate another year of people chasing the little white ball around on his course. Dusty says that the better the course looks, the more people want to come out and golf. His best days are those where he is complimented on how great the course looks. Now the answer to this week's Studio One Sports Trivia question: how many golf balls a year are hit into the water surrounding the famous 17th hole of the stadium course at Sawgrass? 125,000, and that's a lot of golf balls. That's the sports, Monty and Ashley.
Thanks a lot, John. Some people act differently when they haven't rested enough. We wanted your thoughts on how you behave without sleep. Your answers are still to come.
Also, we'll sit in on a performance where everything is not as it seems. One man dresses up in makeup and heels to send a message. That story is next.
If this tennis ball represents today's environmental challenges, and these puppies are the EERC, then tackling those challenges is just another workday. At the EERC, we're improving air, water, and soil quality, developing renewable fuels, cleaner power plants, and discovering new ways to use our natural resources. And just like those puppies, we'll never tire of the pursuit. EERC, putting research, into practice.
Your future depends on this moment. Take the path that leads to your future.
Studio One is a television show produced by staff and students at the University of North Dakota.
Here you actually get to do your own stories and you get to go out and talk to people and interview and learn about the cameras and everything that goes into like a live television production. I mean, it's incredible.
Give it a try. I mean, even if you're not broadcasting communications major, anything, I mean, it's worth it.
At the University of North Dakota School of Engineering and Mines, improving the world is our project.
This could be your next road.
Our research helps heat your home without hurting the environment.
You drink clean water because of my work.
We push technology to improve quality of life.
This field could fuel your car.
Petroleum production can be more efficient.
One day, my ideas will impact you.
I am
an engineer.
You're watching Studio One, news, weather, sports, and entertainment.
In the late 1500s, power resided mainly with men. Women weren't even allowed on a stage. In William Shakespeare's plays, even Romeo and Juliet, young boys actually played the women. Men may not be considered the bigwigs anymore, but that doesn't mean they've stopped wearing them.
These people are waiting patiently and with curiosity. He knew he loved to perform, but African male model Nia Marshall Cootie has always loved hair, fashion, and makeup as well. Cootie embarked on a career in the art of illusion. She first walked down a runway at a fashion show in France. Cootie was asked to fill in when a female model didn't show up for a shoot. Bibi Zahara Benet was born, and college campuses throughout the U.S. are getting up close and personal with drag.
It's really wonderful that the university brought her in. It makes me super happy.
The art form has been built on is playing with your imagination and playing with your fantasies.
Makeup, costumes, and drama. She's bringing more to this stage than fun and glitter.
Within Bibi's message, she just talks about accepting yourself through self-discovery.
You're not stupid, you're not dumb, you are different, but it's a good thing. And it's okay for you to live the life you want to live.
Studies show the desire for social acceptance is a top contributor to stress in teens.
And it's cool that she can engage people and make it fun too. It doesn't have to be scary to learn something new.
Play your part, play your role, and leave your footprints here.
So just like the classic Aerosmith song, you might agree that dude in fact does look like a lady, but a lady who is determined to spread the message of acceptance. With photographer Dylan Reichstead, I'm Tara Peters reporting for Studio One.
Bibi is the winner of Season 1 on VH1's reality TV show called RuPaul's Drag Race. Season 4 is set for release in 2012. When some people have a big decision to make, they sometimes need to sleep on it. That might be a better idea than you think. A Centers for Disease Control and Prevention study shows sleep deprivation plays a role in risky behavior. It reports that sleep-deprived teens are more likely to smoke, drink alcohol, and feel sad or helpless. We wanted your thoughts on how lack of sleep affects you.
I work 14-hour days, so I don't get much time to sleep, so.
It'll definitely affect, like if I'm driving or how I treat people even.
There's been times where I didn't realize where I was, so, and just body being extremely exhausted.
I get more moody and I don't focus as much and I always doze off during class.
It makes me angry, I guess, and I get agitated and all the other stuff. So
I guess the only thing I've done is put my boy in girl clothes because I was tired.
Have I done stuff because I was sleep deprived? Yeah, my whole job is sleep deprived, so, you know, yeah, you forget stuff, you You space out.
Makes me tired, irritable, cranky, you know, like anyone else, and
Party hard. Sleep deprivation gets you when you want to try and party. It slows you down. It's tough.
A comment also from our Facebook page from Rapid City, South Dakota. Erica, who's an ICU nurse who does 12-hour shifts, she says it's pretty common to be sleep deprived. One brain fart could cause a patient serious harm. Unfortunately, our drowsiness, grumpiness, and inattentiveness is saved for our personal life. Katie in Grand Forks, North Dakota says, when I'm tired, my attention span to truly listen and care is much shorter. I tend to be more self-focused, anticipating the next time I'll get to crawl back in bed. A midwife helps families with a natural birthing experience without drugs or hospital beds. We'll learn more about this alternate way to have a baby next.
Closed captioning for Studio One is underwritten in part by the Listen Center, where meeting friends at Listen is a groovy thing to do and has been since the days of Woodstock.
What does cancer look like? What about diabetes, heart disease? Medical laboratory professionals are a vital link in the treatment of disease and maintenance of health. They investigate clues found in the body that will direct patient care. The University of North Dakota's laboratory science programs are some of the most innovative, far-reaching, fully accredited programs in the nation. The UND School of Medicine and Health Sciences can help you become one of the few who see beneath the surface.
It's not the size of the woman in the fight. It's the size of the fight in the woman.
Some consider graduation the end of the college experience. For others, it's just the beginning.
And the university provided an environment where I could grow.
And many years after I graduated, I'm still receiving dividends from my experience as a student at UND.
The University of North Dakota Alumni Association is committed to growing the university by growing the alumni family.
According to the Huffington Post, the number of babies born in the United States was over 4 million in 2009. But where these babies are being born is up to the parents. Birth attendant Rebecca Knapp is here to talk about having a baby at home. Thank you for joining us today. What is a birth attendant or midwife, since they are a little bit of an interchangeable word?
Birth attendants or midwives, depends what level of training they are, maybe doing hospital or home births. I do home births.
Why did you decide to become a midwife?
God called me to do that. It's the short and simple, but I love helping families.
What is a little bit of the backstory? Why did God call you to it? Was there something that you saw or heard, or what was it?
I was really thinking about being a nurse, and then I saw a short TV clip, and it was through that the Lord spoke to me about specifically helping prevent childbirth death and infant death in Haiti. Specifically, I've been able to go there twice now and teach midwifery, but also help families here in the U.S.
So just seeing that one video kind of changed your whole life. And,
it did.
And you went over to Haiti. What kind of work did you do with the midwives there?
I worked with midwives for Haiti, and we were training midwives. Depending when I went down there, we worked in the hospital or just in a classroom setting. So we were teaching all kinds of fun skills as well as the bookwork.
Was there any tricks of the trade that you taught, that you had learned and you brought to them?
One of the things was using a rebozo, which is a very old Mexican tradition, and helping get the baby in a good position, which sometimes can inhibit the birth process.
So you're teaching them, and you have also been taught as well. How does the whole process work?
The families contact me to help them with a home birth, or just ask me questions, and I can do all the prenatal care throughout the whole pregnancy up to 6 weeks postpartum.
So you're there for the whole, almost the whole process, sometimes with certain families, and there might be complications that come up during the labor process. How do you deal with them?
Depending what the complication is, we may end up having to transport to the hospital, but most of the time we can handle most things at home too. Minor complications.
What are some of the minor complications that you can deal with at home that some people might think is major but not really?
One of those is a cord around the neck. Most of the time it's just draped around the baby's neck like a scarf would be worn, not actually wrapped 2 or 3 times around the neck. And a lot of people do consider that a major complication, but we see it a lot.
It's something minor that keeps coming up, and you know how to deal with it at home in a safe way.
Right.
There's a lot of people that have different baby stories, and I know mine. I remember my mom telling me about my personal baby story, how she was standing on the bed in the hospital giving birth to me. Have you had any crazy moments or stories that pop out to you?
Yes, we've had some. One of those is based on where the family may choose to have their baby or think they want to have their baby, the location they choose, whether it's their bedroom or the living room or whatever. This one mom wanted to have a water birth, and she had the pool set up in the basement, and she was getting ready to have that baby, really close to having it. And I was like, okay, next contraction, something's gonna happen. And suddenly her eyes popped open, and she looks at us and runs up the stairs. And her husband and I are just like, what's going on? And we quick grabbed everything, ran after her. She's up in the bedroom having the baby. And I asked her, what was going on? Why did you change location? She's like, I was writing the birth story, and I got to the part, and you were born in the basement. She could not stand that.
She wanted a little bit more personal.
A little more personal, not the basement. Not that the basement was dirty or anything like that.
She just didn't want it. She wanted a little bit more nice.
Yep.
What are some things that families need to have in preparing to have a baby at home?
I do give them a list of supplies they need to have on hand. Just general stuff that you normally have around the house. Towels, maybe some plastic to protect the bed or the carpet or whatever. Baby clothes, diapers,
the little things.
Yes, that you forget about. Yes.
And all the commotion that's going on.
Right.
After the baby is born, do you help out the mothers with postpartum depression?
Postpartum depression, I do. Depending how severe it is, we may have to seek outside help because that's not necessarily a specialty that I'm real good with, but I do hopefully know the signs and symptoms. When someone else needs to come help us. I can help with the breastfeeding challenges as well.
Why do you think the home births are becoming more popular than they have been in the recent past?
I think a lot of people want something different than what they've been getting just in the mainstream hospitals. And I know the hospitals do a great job on trying to make it a home setting, but still staying home is often way more appealing to most people.
And just real quickly, what is the cost comparison in having a home birth versus having a birth at a hospital?
Generally a lot less. Usually under $2,000 a lot of times, depending on the part of the country you live in, compared to a lot of hospitals, it's $4,500 to $15,000.
So there's a wide range of the differences. Is it safe to have your baby at home? And why?
It certainly is safe to have a baby at home. Generally, you're going to be less fearful. You're going to be more relaxed, so things are going to go much better.
Well, thank you so much. You have a lot of great information and great stories as well. Thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
You're watching Studio One from the University of North Dakota. We'll be right back after this.
The University of North Dakota School of Medicine and Health Sciences is meeting the challenge of future healthcare workforce shortages. The state's only medical school produces the highest percentage of graduates nationwide who choose family medicine. Advanced degrees are also offered in basic medical sciences like anatomy and health professions like physical therapy. Students learn and train throughout the state.
In that way, we really are North Dakota.
Make your choice the UND School of Medicine and Health Sciences.
If this tennis ball represents today's environmental challenges and these puppies are the EERC, then tackling those challenges is just another workday. At the EERC, we're improving air, water, and soil quality, developing renewable fuels, cleaner power plants, and discovering new ways to use our natural resources. And just like those puppies, we'll never tire of the pursuit. EERC, putting research into practice.
At the University of North Dakota School of Engineering and Mines, improving the world is our project.
This could be your next road.
Our research helps heat your home without hurting the environment.
You drink clean water because of my work.
We push technology to improve quality of life.
This field could fuel your car.
Petroleum production can be more efficient.
One day, my ideas will impact you.
I am
an engineer.
What does cancer look like? What about diabetes, heart disease? Medical laboratory professionals are a vital link in the treatment of disease and maintenance of health. They investigate clues found in the body that will direct patient care. The University of North Dakota's laboratory science programs are some of the most innovative, far-reaching, fully accredited programs in the nation. The UND School of Medicine and Health Sciences can help you become one of the few who see beneath the surface.
Tune in next week on Studio One. We'll take along on a deer hunt that caters to hunters with disabilities. Plus, we'll have other news and entertainment stories for you.
And we're going to leave you now with pictures of the beautiful fall season. From all of us here at Studio One, have a great week.